All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us and stopping through to see this video. My name is Christina. I am going to be hosting today's episode streaming with HeyBelleChrista. So if you are joining from YouTube, make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe. We have a lot more content that's going to be coming up. And I want to go ahead and introduce our guest for today. We are doing a series where we're going to be talking about organizing, but what we're going to start off with first is our Inspire community highlight. So if you are not already following on the HeyBelleChrista platforms, the Inspire community highlight is all about introducing small business owners, helping us to connect and network, and giving some more exposure to a lot more small businesses in all different types of businesses. So I'm super excited to have you here. Seirra, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So please just go ahead and introduce yourself to us.
Yeah, of course. I'm Seirra Hamilton. Thank you for having me here first off. And I am the owner of Nicely Placed Organizing. Nicely Placed Organizing is based in Charlotte, North Carolina, servicing North Carolina and South Carolina to organize for first-time home buyers, executives, and full-time artists with art studios and workspaces, helping them be able to clear their spaces and be able to get rid of the overwhelming feelings that come with having a cluttered space, but also get out of the house on time and be able to meet deadlines without compromising their work. So that's a little bit about Nicely Placed Organizing and what I do.
Wow. So we are talking about organizing and planning and everything like that for small businesses. So what you do is quite instrumental. And I'm sure that your clients are very, very happy to have you. Being on the back end of things, we are quite used to thinking a couple of steps ahead. So it's really cool. I'm very excited to have you on and be able to give a different perspective to what organizing looks like for businesses, especially. So that's great. You work with so many different people and are able to help them get their spaces organized. So we're going to start off with something that has become a staple for us, which is our BelleChrista Adminute, where if you don't know, I also have a virtual assistant. I'm a virtual assistant full-time. And so throughout this series, the Inspire series, I'm speaking with our small business owners to see a little bit about where they are with their admin systems. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump into our BelleChrista Adminute with Seirra. Okay, so all right. So first, let's talk about, you are a professional organizer, correct?
Yeah.
So what are some systems that you have in place? So that's by booking, by scheduling. What's some systems that you use in your business, in your small business?
Yeah, so some systems that I use. One, my website is through WordPress, and WordPress allows me to have a lot of different resources to just stay organized and stay structured. But outside of that, I also use a CRM as well, which I'll touch on. But to start off, WordPress, basically I use my email inbox through WordPress, and then also through HoneyBook, which is my CRM. That's where clients and customers are able to fill out my contact form, book a discovery call, and be able to book sessions. That also integrates into my website, and so it keeps things flowing pretty well, keeps everything on track and structured in a seamless process so that there's not much stress on my end as well.
Yes, and I've used both of those as well, WordPress and for HoneyBook. I think HoneyBook is very, very underrated, especially if you're someone that does contracts and has to have people come in and do information like what you do. So that's a great one. And WordPress is very, very easy, I feel like, for you to be able to use. Do you feel the same way?
I do. It has different layers to it. So I will say when you first get on it, it may seem like it's overwhelming, but when you start peeling back the layers and just start with the simple basic part of it, then you're really good to go. Yeah.
I absolutely agree. Awesome. Okay, so next, what are 3 things you absolutely must have to run your business? Like your top 3. If you don't have these, there is no Nicely Placed Organizing.
My top 3, I would definitely say the CRM for sure, HoneyBook. That, like I said, that keeps everything keeps me in alignment, keeps me focused, keeps me ready to go, but also keeps me closely attached to people who are reaching out constantly and being able to follow up with them easily. I'll also say my Google business page. That, of course, is a place where even outside of the outreaches that I do personally and outside of social media and posting content on there, my Google business page is a place to be able to gain more clients, gain more reach, gain more exposure. So it's definitely the next step, a next level to be able to get my name and nicely placed organizing out there. And so that's super important. And then I will honestly say social media. I know a lot of people are, sometimes social media can seem to a lot of people like a burden, but at the same time, it's all about finding out why you're on social media, what you want to display, what you want your brand to be about, and then going from there and making it work for you. Because we live in a day and age where technology is not getting any less. So we have to be able to show up. We have to have that digital proof to be able to, a digital proof and social proof to be able to translate that over to people who want to potentially work with us and just people who want to build community with us as well. So those are my three.
Those are such good 3 things. And I'm glad that you hit on social media as well, because I see the posts all the time. I'm talking to my clients all the time about how, if I didn't have to worry about social media, and of course, social media management is something that you can have as something that you source out. It's something that I do for my clients, but still being involved is really important, because understanding the trends of what people are interested and not interested in, and as technology and social media progresses, that personal aspect is actually quite important to people. So seeing that there's a person behind those social media pages, in your business pages, understanding that there's that personal connection that's there, and you're not just trying to throw stuff out to them, is really, really good. So, okay, perfect. All right, we're going to keep moving, because I will get started on a whole tangent. But our last question for you is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your admin systems, your back-end systems? How would you rate them right now?
I would say I thought about this a little earlier, and I would say it's an 8.
Okay. I'm
gonna keep working on that.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say?
We're gonna keep working on that.
Yes. I would say it's an 8 because for me, I feel like it's in a good space, but of course there's always room for improvement. I do have some automations, but of course there's always room to add more, especially in a place where I want to eventually get to a place where I'm working more on the business, or more on the business than in the business, and being able to scale to next levels, things of that nature. So I would say it's an 8.
Yes. And I always am joking with everyone about this. I was like, we're going to work on that. But honestly, if you're a small business owner that is not outsourcing anything to another person and does not have a team, being around an 8, 9, 7 is really, really great, because A, that means that you're actually paying attention to what's happening to your backend systems. But B, also, there's only so many things you can do at one time. So being able to put your head in multiple different spaces and keep everything flowing, being at an 8 is solid. So but yes. Thank you. Yes.
No, I was gonna say the outsourcing part is definitely key, and that's something that even I'm getting ready to expand on, like in the future, just bringing on another like a person who can assist with certain areas and certain tasks so that I can take my hands off of it. So
yes, and that's important too, and knowing when the right time is to do that. So we are also going to be talking about that a little bit more too in our summer series, so make sure you stay tuned. But now I want to get into the ins and outs of Seirra, how you got started on your small business journey. So let's go ahead and get to this inspiring interview. So The Inspire interview, the community highlight that everyone is seeing is my talk in depth. So where you get to hear behind the scenes of how we in small business really take that next step, because there's a lot of times that we talk about, oh, I think I may want to do this, but how we actually get there is so different for everybody. And so I know I find it encouraging when I talk to my family, my friends, associates about how they got started and how they're continuing, which is why I really wanted to be able to do this. So again, Seirra, thank you for being here with us.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and start into this interview. So our first question, and this is all about getting to know you and your business. How did you get started with Nicely Placed Organizing? How did you get into professional organizing? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Since I was little, I will say that organizing has always been a part of who I am. It's always been something that I've enjoyed doing. I vividly remember times where I would organize the room that I shared with my sister and actually set aside some time to be able to organize my side and her side, and be able, so that I can be able to like breathe and live within the space better. And so really, when I was younger, I wanted to work within like interior design, into the interior design industry. And so it's funny that it's kind of like I'm circling back around to where I'm doing something similar to that. And so during the pandemic, one of my cousins was getting her closet organized by her best friend. And that led me basically to have a light bulb go off in my head that was like, oh, I love organizing and I've always wanted to start a business. And so I was like, why not go ahead and do that? Go ahead and start organizing, sharing a gift that I have with people who need the services. And so from there, I went ahead and started doing research in terms of what that process would be like, what the professional organizing industry looks like, how do I just get involved with that, and set everything up to start my business and be able to take the next steps to keep going. And then I got connected eventually with a networking group online through Facebook, and that became my community, my accountability group in a sense, to keep me accountable and help me be able to learn things about business and entrepreneurship that I didn't know, and just be able to take those next steps to keep growing.
Yes, I love that. And I know that's something that you also mentioned in your questionnaire, is being able to have that accountability system, and that support system is so huge, because I was speaking with someone in our previous interviews about how just being able to sit and having those conversations, soundboarding, and being able to bounce ideas, it really can help you to have the confidence to take this step. So with that too, were your family and your friends some of the first people? I know you mentioned being able to do your organizing at home, but was that some of the first people that you had as clients as well, or did you branch out earlier into that?
Yeah, so I did have family and friends who were my first clients, and I'm super thankful for them. Some of them are still repeat clients today, and so without just having that support, I guess I don't know where I would be in a sense in terms of my business. So super thankful to be able to have that support.
We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Friends.
More than we may say.
More than we may say. Oh my gosh. My family and friends are a huge reason behind why I started this in general. So I love that. And 1000% empathize and sympathize with everything you're saying, because it really does make a difference. So tell us too about why you feel, and I guess more so too, or let me go back. And I don't think this is one of the ones that I gave you, but what's the difference for professional organizing versus just, cleaning up a space or making somewhere neat? Like, where does that added step come in?
Yeah, that's a good question. So professional organizing is more of the piece of actually going through a space and assessing how to declutter, how to create more structure, how to be able to bring about a space that's going to be able to be sustained in the long run. So cleaning, for example, also contains different like cleaning products, different things different chemicals or different products that you need to be able to like wipe down surfaces, for example, or wipe down like mop a floor, things like that. So it's a little bit different in organizing. You don't necessarily have to use additional products. Organizing is more of, I would even go as far as saying it's more of a mental aspect in a sense, when it comes to being able to have a space that fits what your personality, your lifestyle, your needs are going to be best with working for, in a sense, so that you can be able to take care of other higher priorities, other things that are more important in life. If your space is cluttered, your mind is also cluttered usually. They're both like, they're synonymous. They're a reflection of one another. And so to be able to go into your space and have a peaceful mind means that you've done something to be able to keep that space looking structured and looking well put together.
Yes, that's such a great point. And I know one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is why organization in the home was so important. You just touched on that, but in business as well. I know a lot of people went to working remote and things like that. I work remote as well. And I know some days it's where I have to be out of the house. Some days it's where I'm in the house. So in having that separate space for your home office per se, or your business where you're at your business, what are some of the things that makes that space function better, especially on the business side?
So just to make sure I'm understanding your question correctly. So to be able to, are you asking, in order to function within business well, what are some things that you need to be able to have in that space to help you do that?
Yes.
Okay, got you. So really, I'm old fashioned. I'll say a notebook and a pen and a heartbeat. But
I agree. Old fashioned here too. You gotta be able to pen and paper sometimes. I agree. Yes.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes we overthink the things that we need to have in a space, because like a notebook and a pen can take you very far. But of course, with everything being digital, also having your computer, being able to just make sure that you have a space that's designated to what you're trying to accomplish, what you're trying to get done. So let's take for example, someone who maybe has like a candle business. So they're gonna have a space where they need to have a desk or an open space where they can actually pour in the wax into the containers that they're using to be able to sell. But they also need a storage place to be able to store those containers until they're getting ready to use it. So whatever your business is, being able to have spaces that you designate for everything that you know that you'll need within your business.
Right. And that's how you stay away from the clutter developing, correct? Because you're not bringing in a bunch of additional things that don't actually apply to what it is that you're trying to get done throughout the day. And I know I'll use myself, for example. I work with people that are in many different careers many different types of businesses. So I have a chef that I work with versus a person that does a podcast versus, there's several different things. So I know a lot of times my brain, like you were saying too, that really made sense for me, because it's like you can easily go in several different directions.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you have like all of this random stuff. So I think that's like such a good thing to remember for home and for businesses, making sure whatever it is that you bring into your space, it makes sense for you to be able to use it on a regular basis and function. I know like de-influencing is like a huge thing in bringing about decluttering, but it's like we're constantly told a lot of times that we need, but a lot of it doesn't actually help us to do anything productive. Right. So, are there things that you feel like is just a staple for a business owner? I know you're just saying, that you want to make sure that it pertains to your business, but I'm with you too, old fashioned pen and paper. But is anything like, let's say you have your home office there, like a particular setup that you feel is like a staple for a business or a business owner to have in that home office?
Yeah. I would say for sure a desk. somewhere that you can be able to either sit, like either if you're someone who likes to stand up, an adjustable desk. If you just don't mind sitting down, a desk and a chair, being able to have some type of like either file cabinet or a storage portion of your desk so that you can be able to store different papers, and different important files that you want to return to quickly, and maybe frequently, or just when you need to grab it. And then I'd also say a printer. That is, of course, something that you're going to need if you're constantly printing things out that you need to either sell, or that you, say, for example, flyers that you're trying to pass out to people, or just paper in general that you need for your business that you need to be printing. To have a printer is also a good thing, a good staple.
And let me ask you this too, because I feel like this may be a matter of preference, but I'm going to ask you because of you understanding the mental side behind the space too. Do you feel like it's necessary or very important for people to have a separate space to work in as their office versus just, room? I know I've had my computer set up in my room before versus having it set up in a different part of the house. So do you feel like it's just a preference thing, like mentally, for how you best work? Or, if you're able to have a separate space, is it better to have the separate space?
I would personally say it's a personal thing. It's a personal preference. I have my desk set up within like my same space pretty much. And I know some people who do the same, and they just separate it using like maybe a cloth that they can hang on. I know someone who has like a rod that she hangs like a sheet over. And it's pretty much, it creates like a separation in a sense. And your mind doesn't really like know any better. If you see it, then it's going to separate it. So yeah, I would say it's a personal preference. It all boils down to how disciplined you are, and how well you know yourself enough to know that you're not gonna, like, say your desk is in your bedroom, how well you know yourself enough to where you're not gonna just go to bed or just lay down versus like going and doing what you know you're supposed to do. So it's personal preference to me.
Great. That's a great thing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I know we're kind of jumping around a bit. I want to talk to you too about you spoke on whenever you started as a professional organizer. What would you say to someone who is considering or wondering if that's something that they would be able to transition to as a career or start as a career?
Yeah, I would definitely say do your research. See how many other professional organizers are already in your area, so that you can be able to gain more information about whether it's going to be profitable, beneficial to be able to start this type of business, because you don't really want to. Starting a business is not. It can be budget friendly, but it can also be costly. And so you don't want to get yourself into a situation where you're starting your business and you're putting out more money than you're getting back. And that's just the way that it continues to go. Like, you're not making anything from it. So you want to be able to know that you have the opportunity to be profitable. So definitely do research, market research. And then I would also say, if you get past that stage and then you're able to go forward with being a professional organizer, I would say to pick a niche. Figure out what it is you want to build your business on, because in order to get to a place where, if you want to keep the business to where you want to scale it eventually, it would definitely be important to have a niche, because as a professional organizer, it is, in a sense, labor work. You are doing something that requires your physical labor. And until you figure out how to create things outside of that physical labor, then you're basically an employee again, and you basically have a job. So yeah, that niche definitely is going to be helpful with figuring out how to scale the business properly to where, again, you're working outside of the business, working more on the business than you are in it. So
That makes a lot of sense. So what would be like, or what are some of the more well-known niche parts of professional organizing that people could get into?
yeah, more well-known niches. I will say I've seen a lot of professional organizers and know some personally who take the approach of being a consultant for other professional organizers. And so what they do is they have had so much experience within the industry to the point where they go forward and start offering workshops, printables, different master classes, different resources to help professional organizers get to where they are now, or to where to basically next stages where they want to be. So that would be an approach that is most popular at this moment within the industry.
Yes. Okay. So, and I know like niche is one of those, I'm really glad that you hit on that, because niche is one of those words that I feel like is thrown around, and a lot of times it's like you get caught in, oh, I have to be limited, but it really is just making sure it works. It's what works best for you and your business. So if it's something, and I know whenever I started in virtual assistants, I had to give myself within that first year to decide on some of the things that I really not only just enjoy, but really thrived at. And I feel like, especially if you're a person, you don't, like you said, you don't want it to become where you're an employee and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't like doing this. I don't like doing this. So, yeah, I think that's such a great point, especially once you've had a chance to be able to get into everything and understand what it is that you like. I think that's great. So let's see what else we have. So something that you've moved into also is doing your podcast. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Organizing Untold is my podcast that I post.
It's so good. Check it out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's on YouTube, Facebook, and also I feel like I'm missing on LinkedIn. YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn currently. I am at the moment taking a break, but it'll be starting up soon again. So if you are someone who would like to be a guest, definitely reach out and we can talk about that more. But to explain the podcast itself, it is a podcast for busy business owners and people who work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., helping them be able to become confident with organizing. So I do that by bringing on guests who are in those categories, who already feel confident within their organizing journey, and they talk about their journey, how they got to where they are now, where they at one point were, what are some organizing tips that they use. And the last week of each month, what I did was also bring on a guest who didn't feel confident in their organizing journey. And we had the chance of just going through and sitting down, talking about why they felt like where they were, and why they felt not as confident, and just giving them the opportunity to ask questions on what it looks like to become more confident and to become more organized. So it was, in a sense, a mini consultation almost. And so those are live now. Well, not live, but those are up on YouTube. That would be the best place to watch them right now. So
Okay,
yeah, I love my podcast. I am excited to get ready to start again. This time they won't be live. They'll be pre-recorded. But yeah, definitely excited for that.
Listen, I will tell you guys some behind the scenes stuff. This is going to be a one that's premiering, and I'm leaning to stand with you. I think pre-recorded is the way to go, but that's just me for right now. So definitely make sure you go and check out her YouTube, the podcast, and we're going to have everything linked for you guys. So make sure that you go and check that out. And Seirra, one other thing that I want to talk about with you as far as your business is what you specialize in. And you mentioned being able to do virtual consultations and everything like that too. So tell us a little bit about your services and some of the things that people can look forward to whenever they book with you.
Yeah. So I offer in-person organizing services or I should say nicely placed organizing. My business offers in-person organizing services and also virtual organizing services. So the in-person comes with a consultation, and then we get started in terms of organizing your space physically. That consultation piece can either be an in-person walkthrough if you live in the Charlotte area, or we can do a virtual or phone consultation call and be able to set up what that'll look like to get the in-person session started. With virtual organizing, it's similar to having an in-person organizing session, but it's more so for people who know that they are able to organize on their own and they know that they want to do the organizing themselves, but they don't exactly know where to start. And so, with the virtual organizing piece, that allows people to book a session for us to talk about either how to maximize and how to best organize their space, what different organizing products and bins we would recommend and suggest that they add to the space to add more structure, and then also organizing tips that are going to help them be able to save time in the long run. With those sessions, there is an additional piece as well. So there's an opportunity to still have check-ins. So after that virtual organizing session, we can then go back each month, be able to check in with you, hold you accountable, be your accountability partner in a sense to make sure that you're meeting your organizing goals and staying on top of what organizing looks like, making different adjustments if we need to make those adjustments. So, yeah.
Awesome. So you all should definitely be checking these things out. I know you just touched on like a spring, it was a spring series that you did, right? Kind of cleaning and going into the summer. I think I saw that correctly or something like that. Organized.
Maybe not a spring series. I did recently do an organizing series where it was a green and tidy series. I'm not sure if that's what you.
I think that's what I saw. Yes, I'm like I know I saw. I know I saw. Actually, let me double check.
No, you're good. I can.
Or your garage organizing. I think that's what I saw.
Oh, yeah. So I did organize garages, but I did talk about organizing garages recently, and so I did I did a post on that recently where I shared like some before and afters of a garage that we recently organized. But that is definitely something to get done for the summertime, to be able to, of course, park your cars in your garage, but also for the times where you have like a cookout, and you have family over. You want to be able to open the garage and be able to just sit there and just chill out outside. And that's why summer garage organizing is necessary.
Right, because raise your hand if you can't pull your car into the garage because you have stuff randomly. It's fine. If you do, we're not judging. We're just saying go see her tips so you can get it organized. That's all we're saying. Okay, but do that.
Yeah,
because it's blazing right now. But yes, I remember seeing that. Well, I am so excited. You guys, if you check out the website too, HeyBelleChrista.com, we're going to have her full interview and everything like that. I know we're going to talk about some tips quickly, but you also mentioned, and I want to make sure I get to this too, a couple of people that you have in your network. So I just wanted to shout out, this is Verde Tribe.
Yeah.
Tribe. We have Home Studios. We have In the Nick of Time Services. And then also you had a couple others that you mentioned. This was CLT Tours. That's for Charlotte. And then JJ Skin is in
Charlotte.
In Charlotte too.
She is a brow specialist.
Like
brow tinting, things of that nature.
Got you. So if you're any of those, we'll make sure we tag you. But we love, like we mentioned, a great network, a great support system. So make sure you check out all of these people and you can be able to get some more information. So I'm going to jump into our tips that we want to be able to give you guys so we can go ahead and get wrapped up here. But again, make sure you are liking, you're subscribing so you can go and get all of the information for Seirra as well. And we're going to be having some good stuff going on here. So make sure you do. Okay, so we're going to get into our inspired tips. This is going to be something that's brand new that we're doing, but so happy to be getting off with the professional organizer herself, you guys. This is perfect. So we want to talk to you guys about some tips. This is your tips for the community office organization. Okay, so first, Seirra, some summer organizing tips that you have. Like you mentioned, there's like family coming in and out. I have a couple myself for small business owners, but what's some good summer organizing tips that you have?
Yeah, so starting off, I will say when it comes to families who have kids, for example, as you're transitioning out of the school year and starting into the summer, of course, you still want to keep learning a priority and keep it going over the summer so that the children aren't getting back to August and forgetting what they might have learned the previous school year. So an organizing tip for that would be to incorporate a learning tray, a learning kind of like, let's see, a learning cart. That's what it was. Had to look at my notes. But incorporate a learning cart into either their room or their playroom. You could even put it in your office so that you know to incorporate it with something that is work related in a sense. And so on that cart, what you can have are crayons, coloring book, be able to have like alphabet pieces, bingo cards, matching games, just some things that are relatable to where the child is within their learning journey, within their grade and what they'll be learning in the next school year, and also what they learned in the previous school year. So it's kind of like you're helping them to not forget what they learned, but also giving them a head start into what they're getting ready to start learning. So I would say that's important.
And I'm gonna tag onto what you're saying really quick. If you guys don't know, Light It Up TV podcast, I'm gonna shout them out real quick. Light It Up TV podcast, they did an entire summer series on beating the summer slide and different activities and stuff that you can get for your kids. It's all different age groups. I know we sent a lot of stuff to my nieces and my nephews. It's like different little activities, but we did not talk about how you can organize them at home and make sure that that's something that they have. The learning cart is so perfect. But if you need some ideas, definitely check them out. I'm going to make sure that I put them on there. I had to shout them out real quick, though.
Love it. I will also say another summer organizing tip is going back to the garage. Organize your garage, but really starting before the summer gets here. So when it comes to like the summertime and your garage, go ahead and book those sessions with an organizer or figure out how you're going to organize your garage before the summer gets here. That way you're not, when it comes to like cookouts, when it comes to family gatherings, things like that, you're not rushing, trying to get things together, trying to figure out how you're going to have your space ready or if your space will be ready for family members. It's almost like one of those things where if you value family, you don't want to have to choose if you can actually host them and if you have the space to bring them in. You want to just be rest assured that you can be able to have those gatherings and be able to have that garage space that's open for you to use. So that would be the second tip, is to prepare your garage before the summer. I'll also say another tip would be to, even during the summer, like have some fun, plan family outings for the weekend. Take maybe like 15 to 20 minutes during your week and just go ahead and plan out either what that next trip is going to look like beforehand, so that you're not getting to the last minute and not knowing what that trip will look like, and then you get to the last minute and you're just rushing to try to get that all of those details together. Or even just planning a family outing like a picnic or going to the park or going to the art museum, do something with your family if you know that your family is a priority to you. The summer is the best time to do it because one, if you have kids are out of school. But even if you don't have kids, it's still important to have some fun so that you can be able to just create that work-life balance in a sense.
Yes, yes. Have fun is at the top of my list as well. I often am, especially during the month of July, people are, we're thinking ahead and everything like that, which is great. But you also need to be able to give yourself a brain break. You have to be able to step away and step back. And I know it's like, oh, I want to keep going. I just had this conversation recently with a small business owner that I was doing a consultation with. But it's so important, it's like you want to be able to fill up your calendar. And she's like, I can't find something for this day. I was like, why don't you just leave it and just take it as a day off? Sometimes you really do just need that. And we understand, y'all, just like everybody else's bills and things coming in, you want to stay consistent. But sometimes that break will give you exactly what you need to be able to jump in and crush the quarter. So if you are finding yourself trying to find, like, maybe you can just take that day and be able to just fully decompress and find something to do that's free. It's not outside. So have a game night at home with your friends, I've done it with my friends before multiple times, like during this month or during the summer, and we'll just get together, like have a nice little girls' night. We'll talk about, the things that we've accomplished over the past 6 months. You're halfway through the year, before you know it, the holidays and everything are going to be here. So having fun, taking that time to decompress is at the top of my list for summer tips. It's summer for a reason, and even if you think of things on the fiscal quarter, people are outside. People are outside. They are taking their trips and planning those things. So make sure you do take that time. That's the biggest tip that I have. So let's see if there's anything else you have left, and if you have any questions for Seirra, make sure that you drop them in the comments for us. We'll get back to them. We're gonna have her feature up over the next couple of days and be able to get some more good information from her. So the last thing that we'll talk about is just some tips for maintaining your organization through to the end of the year. So like I mentioned, we are halfway through the year. We have this quarter and another quarter left. Things are going to pick back up very quickly especially once the kids get back in school and fall football season kicks in. Y'all know all that there. So we want to talk you being able to be prepared to maintain organization. So some of the things that I'm going to tell you, just as an assistant, is once you have your chance to take your break, decompress, go ahead and think about some of the things that you want to accomplish before the end of the year. A lot of times already having that goal assessed, you are able to give yourself a pathway so you're not playing catch up. Playing catch up is one of the easiest ways for you to get unorganized because things are happening quicker than you're able to actually keep up with them, have them happen, or even delegate to someone else. So if there are those things, which if there are those things, like, I need to do this, I need to do that. Look back at your goals that you set. And if you know that there are things you want to be able to get done for the holidays and all that good stuff, make sure that you go ahead and set those goals so that you can get that pathway set so that you can accomplish them. And that is how you maintain organizing, because then all that you're doing is putting in place things to be able to hit each of those milestones and make sure that you're getting through all of those steps. So that is my main thing for maintaining your organization. Comb back through all those things, fine tune, do those things that we all know we don't want to have to do, but we need to do them. Go ahead and do all those things so that you can get that goal set and you can go ahead and stay on track. So what would you say, Seirra, for staying organized and maintaining that organization?
Yeah, I would definitely say that's a good one. It's a crucial and important piece. So I'm glad that you mentioned that one for sure. To add on to that, another one that I'm going to mention one from another professional organizer who I know is actually, you mentioned them earlier, In the Nick of Time Services on Instagram. Her name is Kimberly. And so last last year around the holiday season, we did a holiday workshop. It was me, her, and Cozy Home Studios on Instagram. And so something that she mentioned during that workshop was to create checklists. So checklists can definitely be helpful for maintaining organizing because one, there's always the good feeling of being able to check something off of the list. It's like it gives you the boost to keep going and to be able to do something else. So you're motivated. Yeah. And then also just being able to have that clear list that you see in front of you is going to bring you back to a space of one where say you're flustered, for example, in terms of like noticing how fast time is moving. Like you said earlier, we're already in the middle of the year. So like time is not waiting on us. And so it's easy for us to get flustered knowing that. And so being able to go back to that list that you have in front of you can help bring you back to that like centered place and help focus you on what it is you want to be your priorities for the rest of the year. So create checklists that are centered around different areas of your home or the different areas within your life that you know you want to be organized in going towards the new year or going towards the end of the year. Mm-hmm. And then I will also say book a virtual organizing session with us because that is a way to, one, if you know that you are capable and you are confident in doing the organizing yourself, it's a good way to be able to have expert advice from a professional organizer to just reassure you and help give you that confident boost even further towards organizing your space. But then after you book that virtual session one time, you get those check-ins that you can get monthly, and that'll help you be able to maintain that organizing towards the end of the year. So that's definitely it helps you realize that you're not alone in the organizing process, and having that accountability is definitely huge. To the accountability and the support from someone else is huge to being able to get things done. So we're not meant to do life alone, so you don't have to.
Yes.
So people are here to be around you and to help you make sure that you're meeting goals that you set.
Yes. And y'all, the relief that you feel in being able to have those conversations, because when you're just sitting there thinking about it, or you're constantly looking, saying you're home, you need to be able to get organized. You come home day after day to that, and it's just like it's constantly in your face. So being able to have someone constantly support you, like Seirra just mentioned, that is one of the biggest reliefs, because it helps the situation not feel so overwhelming, and it's one step at a time. And the same for your small business, in getting virtual assistants or having someone that's come in. It's like, oh, there's all this stuff that we need to do. And it's like, well, you're often doing way more than you even realize in the first place. You just need to be able to have those guided steps. So we are here for you, Seirra. Thank you so much. We'll have to we have to do another part, because I still have like way more stuff, but hold us forever. So make sure, again, that you are liking, following, sharing on our Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. We will have all of Seirra's information for all of her social media, for her podcast. But get in touch, you guys. Make sure, if you are a small business owner and you're looking for those things, okay, what's the stuff that I need to invest in? Organizing is always going to be a number one thing you can ask anybody that's an admin. They are always going to say organizing. Okay, so make sure that you reach out. If you have any questions, please let us know. We'll be bringing you some more information. I'm going to be coming back to you guys in the next video with some information on our giveaway that's going to be coming up, and how you can be able to get in touch and get a lot of these great benefits. Okay, so again, Seirra, thank you. Nicely placed organizing. And we will see you guys the next time. Y'all know I don't have an outro, so for right now, bye.
Bye.